Tykelings. In this video, I'll be showing you how to deploy Tyke on Google Kubernetes Engine or GKE and expose our Tyke services through Kube CTL port forward. So to start off, we're going to go ahead, navigate to the console, and we'll go to the navigation menu. And what we are looking for is going to be clusters. So we're going to go down to Kubernetes Engine and click clusters. On our clusters page, you can go ahead and select a team from the drop-down menu. I already have mine selected, so you can go ahead and hit the create button. We will be creating our cluster in standard mode. So we're gonna hit configure, and we're just gonna name our cluster. You can name it whatever you would like. I'll name mine a Tykeling cluster, and we just hit the create button at the bottom. And it's pretty straightforward, just giving it the name, hitting create. This process right here will take several minutes, so don't be alarmed if you just see that status just keep spinning. That's completely normal. And we can, in the meantime, we can head over and install the G-Cloud CLI. You can actually just Google G-Cloud CLI and it'll bring you to this page where you select the computer that you're using or the machine that you're using, and you just run a couple of commands in your terminal. It'll prompt you through this process, and once this is finished and once the installation is completed, you can move on to the next step. All right, so now that we have our clusters created, you can see here the green check mark. We can hit connect, copy this command, and head over to our terminal where we can paste this command, and we are now connected. So if I was to go ahead and do something like, let's see, Kube CTL get nodes, I should essentially see my 3 nodes which have been created. You can see it's GKE, it's got the name right there created. And now what we want to do is we need to create a namespace for Tyke. So the command for that would be kubectl create namespace, and I will just name it Tyke. And you can see here that my namespace has been created. What we now have to do is, since we have this namespace created and we have the nodes also created, we should go ahead and start installing Tyke Pro and all of the dependencies in our cluster. So let's get that done. The first dependency that we're installing is Redis. You can see I've added right here at the end the namespace Tyke, so it knows where to install it. Then I'm going to go ahead and install Mongo. Let's get that installed. And lastly, we are going to install Tyke Pro. Now with Tyke Pro, you're going to see here on my command, you're passing in your own path. So in my case, my path will look a little different than yours would. So I'm going to go ahead and pass in what I would use. And you can just go ahead and wherever you've stored your values.yaml file. And this might just take a couple of seconds to finish installing, but once it's installed, you should be able to see that it's finished. That took a minute, but this is kind of the response that you'll be looking at once it has finished installing. At the bottom, you can see that Tyke Pro is fully installed and it should be accessible for us. Now, if you were to just, forget the dependencies that you'd installed, or you just want to double check that it has deployed correctly, you can always run the command helm list and the namespace that you used. And you can actually see I have my Mongo, Redis, and Tyke Pro. All three of them have deployed successfully. The final step would be to port forward our services. So we can just go ahead and do that by passing in this command, Kube CTL port forward service dashboard, and then the port that we'll be using. So this should be the response that you get. And if I was to go and visit localhost 3000, you'll see that I am in fact able to access it. Now I do have to pass in the email and the password that I assigned in my YAML file. So in this case, it would be default@example.com. And if I remember correctly, my password was passed in right there. And I am in fact able to access the dashboard, which is pretty great. Now, if I wanted to port forward the gateway, I'm also able to do that by passing in this command and just specifying that I want the gateway service and not the dashboard. And you can see I'm getting the same response again. So if I am to go to port 8080, see, I am able in fact to get a response from there as well. Here you go. This is what we were looking for. So good job. You managed to do it, Tykeling. If you feel like trying out this on your own, you can always reference this example, and we have some great documentation on how to do this yourself as well. Good job.